Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we are diving into something truly fascinating, a hidden health map that could completely change how we care for our dogs as they age. And hey, if you love getting into the weeds on topics like this, do me a quick favor and hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps us make more deep dives just like this one for you.
All right, let's get right into it. If you're a dog owner, I bet you've had that moment at the vet's office. One health issue pops up, and then another one seems to follow right behind it. And you're left wondering, is this just a string of bad luck? Or is there something bigger going on? Some kind of hidden pattern?
Well, it turns out scientists were asking that exact same question, and they have just made a huge breakthrough. For the very first time, they've actually created a massive, detailed map that shows us all the secret connections between different diseases in our dogs.
So, in this explainer, we're going to explore this hidden map. We're going to look at why certain health problems seem to show up together and what these connections can tell us about our best friend's health, especially as they get older.
Now, the key to understanding this whole thing is a scientific term called comorbidity. It sounds kind of complicated, right? But the idea is actually super simple. It's just when two or more health conditions exist in one individual at the very same time. You can almost think of it as diseases having partners in crime.
So, why is this such a big deal? Well, because if we can understand these connections, we get so much better at predicting what might be coming down the road for our dogs. It's like giving vets a whole new set of clues for earlier diagnosis and, even better, for preventative care.
So, you're probably wondering, how on earth did scientists build this incredible map? Well, the answer is pretty amazing. It comes from a massive citizen science project called the Dog Aging Project.
And when I say massive, I mean it. The scale of this research is just mind-blowing. They analyzed health data from over 26,000 companion dogs living all across the United States. That is just an enormous, powerful pool of information to work with. And here's what makes the results so incredibly solid. Look at this breakdown. The group they studied was an almost perfect 50-50 split between mixed-breed dogs and purebreds. That means these findings are relevant to pretty much every single dog owner out there.
The way they did it was really smart. They took all of this health data that was reported by the owners, people just like you and me, and they used some serious statistical horsepower to find links between diseases that were way too strong to just be a random coincidence. And what they built from all that data is what they call a comorbidity network. Think of it as the treasure map itself, a visual guide to all of those hidden connections. So, let's take a look at what they uncovered. So, first off, the network basically passed its first test with flying colors. It confirmed a lot of connections that vets have known about for years. For example, it showed that strong link between diabetes and cataracts, and the one between high blood pressure and chronic kidney disease. This was proof that their map was accurate.
But then, it started to get really interesting. The map also began to reveal connections that were way less obvious. For instance, it flagged a really significant link between proteinuria, which is basically when a dog loses protein in its urine, and anemia. This is a perfect example of how this map can point scientists toward totally new avenues for research.
And maybe one of the most surprising finds was that some conditions act like these major hubs in the network, kind of like a busy airport. Get this, the study found that common ear infections were a central hub with a whopping 11 different connections, linking them to things like skin allergies and a whole bunch of other skin issues. It goes to show that an ear problem often isn't just an ear problem.
But the story doesn't stop there, because this map, well, it doesn't stay the same. The researchers made another incredible discovery when they looked at how these disease connections actually change and evolve as our dogs get old. In younger dogs, the disease map is pretty spread out, more diffuse. The connections are there, but they're not as tightly woven. But as dogs head into their golden years, that same map becomes much, much denser. It gets more tangled, with just a few key health problems anchoring a whole web of other issues.
And you can see that trend right here in the data. What this is telling us, basically, is that as dogs age, their health issues don't just add up, they link up. They become more focused and more interconnected. And what's really fascinating is that this is a pattern we also see in human health as we age.
And here is the perfect example of what we're talking about. Remember that strong connection between high blood pressure and chronic kidney disease? Well, the study found that this link was only statistically significant in the senior dog group. It's a connection that really comes to life with age. Okay, this is where this map goes from being cool to being incredibly powerful. Because the owners also reported when each disease was diagnosed, the researchers could see not just what was connected, but the order in which things were likely to happen. For example, the data showed this super clear pathway.
A diagnosis of hip or elbow dysplasia very often came before a diagnosis of osteoarthritis. The network could actually lay out the most likely roadmap for how a disease would progress.
And this wasn't just a one-off. The analysis found all these other predictable timelines. Diabetes often showing up before cataracts, dry eye frequently leading to corneal ulcers. This is literally giving us a glimpse into the future of predictive veterinary medicine. It's incredible.
So let's pull back for a second. What's the real big picture takeaway here? Well, this groundbreaking research isn't just about making our dogs healthier. Ultimately, it's about us, too.
The researchers who wrote the paper said it perfectly. Because our dogs share our homes, our lives, and suffer from so many of the same age-related diseases we do, they are this perfect real-world model for human health. By understanding their health map, we learn so much about our own aging process.
Which really leaves us with this one final, fascinating question. By studying the health of these amazing animals that live right alongside us, what other profound secrets about aging and disease are we about to unlock for both them and for us?
Thank you so much for joining me for this breakdown. If you found this valuable and you want to help us make more deep dives like this, please consider supporting the channel on Buy Me a Coffee. The link for that is right down there in the description. Thanks again, and we'll see you in the next one.